This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Out of the Ashes presents Missing Dad.
I might have ended up on the wrong side of the tracks if Pops wouldn't have pulled me back and said, yo.
Each episode is a thought-provoking interview with people across all walks of life to see how they were affected by missing key pieces in their relationship with their dad.
I told him as a youngster, he'll be the greatest man alive.
And now your hosts, Cooley Harris and Omar Melton.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Missing Dad. My name is Cooley Harris, and my son Omar Melton is not here today. He is out sick. He texted me this morning and said, Dad, I got the shakes and the fever, and I just can't do it. I said, well, son, relax, because Daddy going to bring it home for Jerome. And we are fortunate and blessed to have with us one of the premier community people, all around good brothers. Look at him, he humble, y'all. He don't even want to look up. One of the premier good brothers from the city of Wilmington, Delaware, which is my home. I'm a native Wilmingtonian. Love my city. Mr. Ladaye Johnson, a.k.a. Cool Shoes. And let me tell you a little bit about Cool Shoes. So Cool Shoes, back in 2010, he started a movement. Now, mind you, I don't say an event, but a movement of supporting, encouraging, and providing for the children of not just his native East Side, shout out to East Side, but the whole city of Wilmington, Delaware. So every year since 2010, Cool Shoes, and I call him Cool Shoes Incorporated, does Easter egg hunts, book bag drives, turkey drives, and Christmas giveaway for children throughout the city. Now this man, he brings out not just tens, not just hundreds, but thousands of people, right? Thousands of people, young people, right? So we know we're in an environment where a lot of young people are lacking. They're needing school supplies. People are needing food. People are needing clothes. Children being children, they need entertainment. And Ladaye Cool Shoes Johnson does all that for the people. And I am more than grateful. I consider myself blessed and fortunate to have this brother here with us today. And I just want to thank you, brother, and welcome you to Missing Dad podcast.
You're welcome. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, no problem, brother. So, you know, I gave a little overview, but tell us a little bit about yourself, Cool Shoes.
Well, as you already stated, my name is Ladaye Johnson. Call me Cooley. Cool Shoes. From the East Side. Well, I'm from Wilmington. We all from.
Right.
At this age, everybody know where each other's from and neighborhoods. Together, we from Wilmington. At the end of the day, you know, when I tell people the story, like you said, a lot of people look at the good, you know, what they see on social networks, but they don't know the beginning. You know what I mean? Like I tell, when I go talk to the kids and all that, you know, I was a high school dropout. Dropped out of high school senior year. You know, like, man, I got to figure out a way. As I dropped out, like 6 months went by. I'm like, man, this is not it. I got to, you know, come up with something. So, you know, got myself together, enrolled back into a prep school. You know, it took about 2 years to finish. About time, them 2 years helped me mature.
Right.
Become a better man. You know, because I would think if I didn't do that, then I think I wouldn't be where I was. I'd probably be out here scrambling and, you know, making ends meet, doing dumb stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like I tell a lot of kids, you know, sometimes there's a bump in the road, you know, and then sometimes, you know, the main thing you hear a lot of young people go through is, my dad not around. My dad.
Right.
So I always tell them, you know, my dad left me when I was 10. My dad left me 25 years ago. You know, 25, 26 years ago. And you can't harp on that. But I understand we're dealing with a different generation. I use it as an influence, you know, to push myself. But I was blessed, you know, coming up to have older guy that was really father figures, you know. And I think that was the biggest blessing to me, to go through that to make me become the person I am today.
Right. So you mentioned that you had you talked about a lot. So Well, first things I want to talk about is the father. Who are the father figures? You know what I mean, Wilmington.
And I gotta tell people, I'll just say the East Side, too many names on the Ninth
Too many
Street
names.
area.
Okay.
Gerald Spicers and Derek Bells and had people like Jimmy Bellins and the Corey Curtis. I had all them, some big sisters over there.
Right.
That took me in, and that was the biggest thing. Especially give a special out to a guy named Norman Oliver. A lot of people don't know.
Okay.
Southbridge and
Storm and Norm. Yeah.
and Coach Lee Robinson from the Salvation Army. That guy there. And him and Alexis Nickel. So to have them, to watch them be able to put up with this stuff, me being a little disrespectful, angry kid, they never gave up on me. People telling Storm, kick him out your league, and he don't deserve it.
Right.
They never turned their back on me. That was the biggest thing that could ever happen.
Right. Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing, man. So, you know what I mean? You're talking about mentorship, you're talking about more than mentorship, but people stepping in as being, father figures, adult figures, in your life and supporting you, and encouraging you to do great. So tell me a little bit about, you growing up over the East Side. What year were you born?
84.
1984. Okay. So tell me, what was life like for you growing up on the East Side in 1980? East Side in Wilmington, Delaware, mind you, in 1984.
Started on 2nd and Poplar.
Downtown.
Down 2nd and Poplar, yeah. In the apartment building. And just to see all that there and, seeing different things at the time. I was on that part of the East Side. I got to 9th Street probably about 93. About 93 out. And going up there, like I said, Dad was going. Basically, he was going by then.
Right.
And, going up there, just being blessed. As you coming up, we playing basketball and, you seeing other people there at basketball. But at the time, it's like, you out there at that time, that's when the street was glorified. The street. I mean, you out there, your mom, single mom, home, you 13, 14 years old now. You know what I mean? As you start getting older.
Right.
You seeing the jokers out there making $10,000, $15,000 a day. You like, yo, this is it. And I'm like, but, them guys, it's like they always said, we seen something in you that we won't let you get caught up.
Right.
Now I sit back and how they said it 25 years ago, I look now like, I really thank them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to be out there, you seeing, and, all that money, you're like, I gotta get some of this. But, like I tell people, at the end of the day, I thank them. And you look at it, I gotta tell people all the time, I wasn't built for that. Just to hear the hassle they go through. And I'm like, in the day, I ain't for that. That's why I was sidewalks in the streets. They made sure I stayed on the sidewalk. Sidewalks
in the streets. I always hear you saying that. So you remind me of something, and I mention this quite often. I listened to an interview on NPR by Mahershala Ali, and he played the lead character in the movie Midnight, amongst other things. And in his interview, he talked about moving from coast to coast and East Coast and West Coast, and he talked about his relationship with the hustlers and drug dealers that were in his neighborhood. And Mahershala Ali said that, often it's not, and I resonated with this because I remember this experience of, because people have a misconception of the guys that are in the street trying to bring other young people into the street. And my experience was different. And I remember him mentioning this, that it wasn't the guys that were in the street. They really steered me away from it and encouraged me not to get involved in that street life. And I hear you talking about some of your mentors and people you have relationships. Was that a similar experience with you?
Yeah, and the thing is I, at the time, that's what it was, and seeing them doing it, I mean, like I thank them all the time because, they was out there risking their life doing what they doing to make ends meet at the time. Here it is, they got family, they got kids of their own, and here it is taking out, time from their kids to make sure I'm have something they have to do. And I think that every time it's like, I sit back and watch it now. They always blessed to, get in and get out. They all got good jobs and, making excellent money. And, and that's like one of the biggest things that I always hold on to. Like I look at them like that's a blessing because like without them, ain't no telling where I'd be. And I tell the story all the time, So it's like a lot of people take me, look at me like, yo, man, you be like, sometimes you be true. No, I ain't. I just don't be for that face stuff. But it's like no matter what, that East Side, I have to be there. Like I love it because that's what made me. I can't just see myself. People say it to me now, like, "Oh, what you doing, man? You need to go ahead and change and get away." Nah, I can't change for something that made me.
Right.
I ain't, first of all, I need to get away from it. I was never in the streets. Like I always tell people, I told somebody today, you always see me on the sidewalk. I ain't got to get away. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't going to reach over my shoulders. So that's the kid. Every day you see the kids get off the bus. Mr. Cool, I got an A on my test. That makes my day. Like, Mr. Cool, I got an award. So, in the day, I'd rather see that every day than think I'm going to go be somewhere where I don't and try to readjust my life. Nah.
Right.
That's what I know.
Right. Well, that's cool. I mean, it's all right. What's wrong with being in your own neighborhood? Do we got to leave from our neighborhoods? Do we got to, try to be something that we aren't? And like you said, you was always on the sidewalk. I love that analogy. You was never in the streets. You was always on the sidewalk. And ain't nothing wrong with being on the sidewalks, man. So fatherhood, missing dad, we have an essential question, which is the impact of fathers on, particularly black fathers. What is the impact that fathers have on our children's life to be successful or unsuccessful or whatnot? And, I don't know what you consider yourself to be, but I consider you to be a definitely positive, definitely successful entrepreneur, trendsetter, social media influencer in our city, our hometown of Wilmington, Delaware. And I have to ask you, like, what impact do you think? You said your father. How old were you when your father left you?
9.
9 years old, right? What impact do you think that had on your life?
It did, like I said, it did a lot as far as the impact because end of the day, I look at it is it's not always about financially. You still, no matter what you got in your life, you still want that father you can pick up the phone. There's no conversations. It's that bond, sit down and drink. They can always give you some things that another, might can't give you.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing is I think what lacks now is fathers think sometimes it's always about money.
Right.
Sometimes you sit back and watch kids. You take kids to a park, and they happy. You hear kids, I was with my dad yesterday, and we did this and that, and it's like that's where I think was the separation now is. I was blessed to have the older guys that I had. People like you. This generation, the dads are 20, 21. It's like they don't know, so it's like that's where the separation come from. Or you got dads that's 32, 33, and the kid is 17, 18.
Right.
So that's where like that, and the younger dads don't understand it because they still young themselves want to rip and run, and that's where the miscommunication come in. Seeing it with the summer camp, you'd be like, oh, you got kids, it's like where the dad's at. It's like,
right.
Sometimes the mom don't want her, so it's just like a whole bunch of different things. It's just like I was blessed to have the older guys understood. Do it like to this day. Sometimes I still wish I could just pick up the phone. Dad, what's up? How you doing? Like,
right.
And a lot of times is when I learned this, you can't make up that time.
Right.
That's gone. And I think that's the problem that's going with this generation. First thing they're like, man, it's too late, man. My child 14, 15, and that it's never too late.
Yeah.
Most of these young boys, they cry out they just want love.
Yeah.
From the dad. But if not, what it is they seeing that, man, I'm gonna go do what he doing. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing.
Yeah. And when you talk about it being too late, I look at my own situation with my son. I went to prison in 1994, and my son Amar, he was 2 years old. And I came home in 2008, and he was 16 years old. So a 14-year gap had transpired. And, during my time down in prison, down in Smyrna, I thought, I had a lot of different thoughts. And I thought that, what if he rejected me? What if he didn't want me in his life? I had all those anxieties. But in the back of my mind, and shout out to my mentors, man, Ed Fountain, Tyree Uhuru, and Kenny Rogers, amongst many others, that encouraged me to, no matter what, to go out there and forge that relationship with your son. And so I came out and I did that with the understanding of being humble, asking for permission to be back in his life. And I'm fortunate. I'm glad that I did that. I'm glad that I took that emotional risk, because years later, even though we have our own bumps, we go through our things because we've been through a lot. But I think that my son is glad to have me. Matter of fact, I know that he is better off and glad to have me in his life as opposed to not have me in his life. So to all you brothers out there and sisters alike, if you think that it's too late, it's never too late. You may take the opportunity to go out there and talk to your child. You might get your feelings hurt. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. You very well may get your feelings hurt, but that's fine. Work through that and be willing to go out there and talk to your children and build with your children. And so, Cool Shoes, you made mention about something. Segue a little bit to the brothers. Segue a little bit into some of the brothers with the summer camp, and you talked about how sometimes we see guys out and about and enjoying their life, but you know them and they're not really engaged in their children's lives. I mean, how does that impact you? Seeing somebody, having children in your summer camp that you know their fathers and knowing that their fathers are not actively engaged in their life. How does that feel to you for somebody who grew up without a father?
Well, the crazy thing is, I'm a flip-flop. The thing is, you don't be knowing that they have kids, that their kids go to the camp until it's a fallout or something, and then the mom finally tells you, who's the dad is. So last couple of years, we dealing with that. Like, it's a couple people I literally speak to all the time, and then sometimes the moms don't know I know them, so it's like we might be like a couple of times I've been out somewhere talking to him. Then the mom would come in the next day like, oh, that's his dad. And you're like, hold on, this son been gone to my camp for the last 2 years, and not one time has the dad, been here. And then you go ask him, like, what's up? And it's oh man, she be tripping. Oh man, she don't want me. And like, I can't lie. I'm like, it's been a couple of times that I sit here right here and watch her call you. You know what I mean? Even though I never knew what you was the time of dad, but say dad, and you give her the runaround, or I'm gonna pick him up, then I gotta call somebody else to come because you ain't come. So it's like to see it like me, it frustrates me. It bothers me all the time. Like I said, once again, I wish I can just pick up the phone and call my dad, this and that. And once again, these kids, you hear these sons talk, it's like, I just want to go spend time with my dad.
Right.
These kids nowadays is advanced. They know if the dad got money. These kids, they ain't about money. They say you take these kids to a park, take these kids on a trip, take them to a little baseball, basketball game, they happy. You know what I mean? Then you'd be surprised. I was with my dad this weekend. You'd be like, that's all they want. So it's like frustrating when the dads are around. Because my dad was going, I couldn't even tell you. Every time I checked, he was in Arizona, I think.
Right. So if your dad was the pop of the day tomorrow, what would you say to him?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like, I just want to build a friendship. Relationship, like a bond. Don't say nothing to me about no financial stuff. That's gone. I want that father to figure that bond. Like, dad, go sit down, get a drink, watch a game. You know what dads do? Go eat. I'm going to come over, watch the game. What fathers and sons do. I mean, ain't never too late for that.
Right.
We should do it when I was little. I don't forget that.
Right. So you mentioned, we're city of Wilmington, Delaware. We got a lot of challenges going on. We got issues with poverty. We got issues with homelessness. We got issues with incarceration rates, shootings, and so on and so forth. What from your perspective, what impact does fatherhood, play on that? Do you think having a father in your life would mitigate some of those circumstances?
Having that father can teach you and show you, what I think big for a young man is what not to do and what to do and how to adjust to life. I mean, a mom can only do so much with a son. Ain't like a daughter, can only do so much. You know what I mean? I think with the dad can give you more of that street, what not to do in the streets and how to adjust as a man living more than that mom. Right. And that's not there. And that's what the main thing is. And then, I hate to say it's like, you ever notice, like the moms spoil these kids, these young men so much. They the ones who go out and try to fit in because let's stop right there. Let's stop right there.
So you said that the moms, sometimes mothers are going out and you said they're spoiling these kids.
What I mean by that is you see how like these kids, like they getting all the the new stuff and all that, and not having to work for it.
Right.
Where if that dad's there, now you got to earn this. You know what I'm saying? It's like you see all the time, and it frustrates me. Like, mom, you want your son to be nice and all that.
Right.
But it's like the son ain't gonna respect mom, but like more as that dad. Back in the day, your dad was the one who took the stuff from you more than your mom. The moms are the soft ones. That's why the kids try to get the mom. And you can't fault the moms for doing. They think that's what's cool. But with that dad, I mean, the dad could let you, pull you in the streets, and right before you get there, will pull you back. Like, it's not it.
Right.
But nowadays, it's just so late that these kids, they get bored, ain't nothing around. They seeing stuff on social networks and TV, they thinking it's cool. And by the time you try to come grab them, it's gone. Like you said that not too long ago. I think a lot of dads now are more afraid to get their feelings hurt, and when they do, they try to be their son's friends more than the father.
Yeah.
So it's just like a.
You make me think about something. And I'm a structuralist. I'm a firm believer that structural violence has definitely negatively impacted our communities. And I look back and I remember, like I can remember in my neighborhood, and I grew up in the northeast of Wilmington. And I can remember back in the late '80s and early '90s when they changed the sentencing guidelines from SENTAC to truth in sentencing, and it seemed like over the next couple of years, like my whole neighborhood was arrested, right? And I knew some of my older friends, guys that I ran with, they had families. They might have children and whatnot. And, late 80s, 88, 89 through 91, 94 even, they were taken off the streets, given a whole lot of time for drugs and crimes and things of that nature. Drugs were considered violent crimes, in case y'all didn't know that. It was considered violent crime so that you can enhance the sentence and give an individual more time. I had a friend who got sentenced to 44 years in prison for selling drugs and having a gun. And I can remember how that impacted the neighborhood, because I was still out for a few more years, and then I ended up getting incarcerated. And you could kind of see the shift, young guys not having their fathers there and going into this space of, it was like a vacuum, because here's the thing. We often think, we look at people who are in the streets, who are selling drugs or involved in different activities, survival activities, right? What we call them. And we often judge them. We look at them a certain way and we label them, but not realizing that these individuals still play an important role in their families and their communities. And I'm wondering, what year were you born again? 84. So you were probably coming of age 6, 7 years old, 8 years old when this era that I'm talking about. Did you see a shift in the relationship of men in general, particularly black men, in connection with their communities from the time where you were cognizant, maybe around 6, 7 years old, and then going up and through the 90s?
I seen it. I didn't see this. I seen it shift in the 2000s.
Okay.
About 2000, not 2004, because it was still kind of. I'm gonna say, actually, when I was in college, I started seeing it shift in like 2008. I was coming home. That's right when the recession hit. Mm-hmm. That's when I really started seeing it. I mean, it was early 2000. I'd say about 2004. But it really started hitting me like 2008, 9, the recession. That's when the violence started going up. Mm-hmm. That's when our parents are losing their kids to them, like about 2010, 2011, them gangs start coming.
Yeah.
And you start looking at it was more like a lot of single mothers. They couldn't only do so much because their dads, weren't there and weren't paying. And that's when I started seeing the shift right there. I seen it. That's when I really, really, really seen it.
Yeah. So how did that impact you, seeing that? I can remember those. I came home 2008, and I can remember just seeing the violence escalating. And it was a little disheartening because...
That, and for real, that's when, back about 2010, that's when I sat in my room, my senior year in college. And I was like, man, seeing that, boys' clubs start closing. To me, that's the whole shift impacted me. It was just like, they took Ellesmere skating ring. You start seeing everything. I was like, I got to find a way, when I come home, I got to find a way to get back. What can I do? Streets ain't it, so I can't go how people did it for me and all that. I can't.
Right.
I got to find a way to be able to get back in a positive way to try to give our city some hope, or young men some hope to see, like, you can't, as I tell people, you can't use not having a father as an excuse.
Right.
And that's when the cool shoes thing came about. And that's why I try to tell people that I use that impact and turn it into a positive.
Right. Nice. So cool. So segueing into Cool Shoes Incorporated. So how have you seen Cool Shoes grow over the next 10 years? What's on the horizon for you? What you got going on in 2020 and so on?
Well, for the next 10 years, the goal, like right now, like I said, the ultimate goal, and we talked about a lot, is a building.
Right.
We could keep doing so much, but I think we get the building, which I know we're going to get before the year over.
Right.
Then we can really take it, Like I said, you say 10 years, but the next 10 years, I'm looking at now.
Right.
And once you get that building, then we can really, really go. Because you're able to do things how we do it, better ways, you can get to the kids, and I think one of the biggest things that helped us coming up, and I think they stopped in like 2012, and it was kind of still working. One of the biggest things I would like we need to get back is the scare straight.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I think if we can get that back, get those kids going there, and take them down there for a day, and they could really see like this what it is, and how it was. We back in, they locked you in that cell. I know what time we were, and whole time you was down there, they'd leave and come back. You like, yo, like just to really see what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that if some of these young boys and they get down there and see that, it'll trigger them.
Yeah.
They baby them now. They go with Smyrna. That's where the fairs. They think it's cool. I get out and all that.
Right.
Because they youth. But I think if they can get down there and say, look, this would be your next stop. Once you turn 18,
right,
and you leave them down there for a whole day. I'm telling you, that's one of the biggest things to get back.
I got to jump in right there because I was a member of, in Delaware, we call it Project Aware. So I was a member of Project Aware for about 8 years. So I went down to Smyrna in, what year did I go there? 1995. I got involved. Tyre got me involved in it in like 96 up through 2004. And, I could remember the tours, taking the kids through the old, which was the front part of the prison, coming in through the visiting room and taking them through the pre-trial area and locking them in the cells and taking them down into the activity center and having conversations with the kids. And back then I couldn't even talk back then. I was just security. I couldn't even talk. I had to earn that. And I can appreciate having to earn something. But I can remember Ed Fountain and Tyre Uhuru and Kenny Rogers and the different ones, Aja Moo and all them brothers talking to the kids and giving them, it wasn't Dave Harmon and all them brothers talking to these young people. And it wasn't, with Project Aware, it wasn't just about scaring the kids. You would put them in a real situation. They would go through and see people locked up, doing time, and they would put them inside of a cell. But the second part of the experience was a conversation, and the conversation centered around real life experiences where people would bear their scars and talk about how they had made missteps and how different decisions have been made in their life, being raised, being victims of sexual abuse, physical abuse, and so on and so forth, and then making bad decisions throughout their life and how it had impacted them and led them to be, for the most part, incarcerated for the rest of their life. So all my mentors are on Project Aware. I'll be glad when, like you, Cool, I'll be glad when they start Project Aware back up. It's been a while that it's been down. They really need to get that going again. So what else does Cool Shoes Incorporated got going on in 2010? I know you got a big event coming up in the spring.
Yeah, we coming up on 10-year anniversary. And it's crazy because people do 10-year anniversaries of being in business, and I'm like, I had to sit back and they like, it's 10 years of giving.
Yeah.
Not receiving.
10 years of giving.
Not receiving, giving. And you know, it's like
That's dope.
you meet people every day, and it's like they like what you were saying earlier, like, yo, you so humble, like you do things and like just go on about your business, like, you know, do you know what you're doing? Like you impacting lives and changing lives. So, you know, I just sat back today, like, we've been doing it for 10 years.
10 years.
When I tell people what makes it even better is like we never got no help. Like it's been really 10 years.
Oh, wait a minute. You've never gotten any help?
Not as far as like, you know, what I mean help is like from like the corporate people and, you know, I'm not being smart like city officials. Nah. Nobody never walked down from a big corporate thing and say, hey man, go $10,000 check. Nobody never gave us a check.
Wow.
You know, it's been
How many toys did you give away this year?
15,000 toys.
15,000 toys. How many turkeys?
700.
700 turkeys. How many book bags?
700 turkeys and 30 pairs of brand new. Over 30 kids each got new sneaks for school.
Wow. How many kids participated in the Easter egg hunt?
Every year we get about 1,000 every year.
1,000 kids. We talking about flat screen TVs. What else you giving away?
We get away flat screen TVs.
Gift cards.
And
Yeah.
I don't remember.
From the muscle.
Yeah.
10 years from the muscle. Wow. What's been the most rewarding part of being, you know what I mean, Cool Shoes, doing Cool Shoes Incorporated? What's been the most rewarding part for you?
Seeing the kids. When you see them kids happy. And, hey, like I said, Mr. Cooley, I got an A. Or, hey, Mr. Cooley, especially now, like, it's January. Like, it was December, and kids talking about summer camp already. That's the joy out of it. It ain't about all the slime light and all that. That's the joy of it. And here it is, December, January. They run about summer camp. You know, you see parents. They talk about all my kids keep talking about, are we going back to summer camp? That's another 5-6 months away.
Right.
You know, so that's the joy of, you know, these kids just have impact. You know, with the kids everywhere you go. You see the kids. Mr. Like I said, I got a basketball game. You know, you get invited back. You go on watching them play. And, you know, it's just the biggest thing. And it's like, you know, you see kids acting up and they, you know, they really listen. I'm like, yo, stop. And they
Yes,
like,
they do.
They listen.
Yes,
so it's like, that's the biggest joy. That's the reward for me. I mean, like I tell people all the time, like, if you went in for the wrong, like, no disrespect, but some people just in it for the money and the fame. Nah, you really got to be in it. And like I said back there, like, yo, man, it's about to be 10, like, April 11th be 10 years.
Wow.
You know, April 12th, the actual Easter hunt be 10 years.
Wow.
You know, and you like, wow. So, you know, we like, yo, we've been doing it for 10 years of giving. From the muscle, taking money that we don't have.
Let me chime in on it. Let me tell you something about these kids. These kids in the city, the tough kids that we deal with, the ones that we say are unruly and all that. I went into a school. I ain't gonna mention the school's name. Me and Cool Shoes, Ladaye Johnson. We went into a school, and it was a kid in there that was acting up. He was cutting up. He was cutting up severely. The hall monitors, the behavior interventionists, nobody can do anything with him. When I walked through those double doors with Cool Shoes, Cool looked at that kid and said, man, what are you doing? And he immediately stopped. Immediately. Wasn't no lip, no back talk or nothing. He immediately stopped doing what he was that he's doing. And Cool said to him, he said, man, you know you better than that. You know you should not be acting the way that you acting. And the kid stopped and he started explaining to Cool. And Cool listened to him, redirected him, and had the kid sit down in his class. And from my understanding, he didn't have no more issues out of that day. And the thing is, they got an old saying, people don't care what you know till they know that you care. And that young man knew that this man over here cared about him, because he had demonstrated it over time, and the young man responded to him and listened to him. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was amazed at that. I was amazed and I was hopeful because I saw, you know what I mean, it's just basic stuff. You know what I'm saying? Cool. When people know that you care about them and how they respond to that, it was just amazing, man. And I, once again, man, applaud you and salute you for that, man. Salute you for that. You know, we need to have more people like this. You know what I mean? We need to have more people like Cool Shoes and Cool Shoes Incorporated working with our kids in the schools, in inner city schools. Why not?
I mean, what I learned over these years is these kids know who care for them and who don't.
That's
these
right.
Kids ain't slow. I wouldn't care. You know, and they know fake from real. You
Right.
can be in these schools acting like you really care, but we know that's a job. But these kids know, and it's crazy because, like I tell you, like I just said, that's the joy I get of being in the communities. Like just to see them every day, all communities. You know, it's like I go in the community, it's Mr. Cooley, hey, Mr. You know, and it's like, wow, you know. And the good thing is, it took me about, let me see, what's this? This will be the 4th year of the summer camp coming up, right? Yeah, it'll be the 4th year. And it took me to about a year ago, and a parent said to me, couple of the parents, I'm chilling and the phone ring and I'm like, hello, you know, it's such from such school. I'm like, you call, you know, the parents, did you know, parents put you down as the emergency, like the contact. I'm like, huh, you need to come here. And it's like, wow, like, yo.
Wait a minute.
Like, yeah, like.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They put you down as the emergency contact.
Yeah, they call him if there's such acting up. Like, literally did. Like,
wow.
you like, yo, and it's like, it's cool, you understand. It's like if I say you, these kids like, no, mom, no, don't tell him, please.
That's powerful, man. Because I'm gonna tell you, growing up in my era, your grandma was your emergency contact. Your auntie, you know what I mean? That's who your emergency contact was. You know, your mom, of course, your mom, father, mom and dad was the main contact. Your emergency contact was your grandma, your auntie, or somebody like that. Somebody that holds sway, somebody who you know that loved you and cared about you. I didn't know that, brother. That's significant, man.
Yeah, see, like one thing I learned is that, like I tell, like people like tell me all the time, like when I tell you, it's like, how many kids you have? We got 110 kids. Like, hold, you got 110 kids, but here it is, you got such and such over here that's getting all this and that, and only got 60, 70 kids. What are you doing? And they're like, well, how do y'all go here, go there? It ain't about that. But the thing is you can't be scared of these kids.
Right.
That's the main thing. And you got to take away stuff that these kids like to do. You know, so we know how to get to them. You know what? And you say, you know what? We're going to David Buster. Oh, you can't go to David Buster. Huh? You know, and when they can't go, it's like when they come back that Monday, you don't have no problems on them. Because when you hear them start saying...
So you're not rewarding bad behavior.
No, you can't reward bad behavior. No, you sit down. You can't do this. Hey, you know, we having a party Friday, pizza. Nah. You ate lunch already. So I don't got to feed you no more. You're going to give you a little apple or something, and you cool. You got to take away what they like. And if you reward them, then they going to keep on thinking it's cool. And when they start saying, oh, when I was at such and such place, oh, they let me do whatever I want, that's still good. Then you know you got them. Because they know, like, oh, we can't get over on him. And the thing is like I tell parents, and the first thing we tell them is, if we can't discipline your kids, then send them somewhere else.
Right.
Because we not tolerant disrespect. We're not all that. You know, if you feel as though you don't want your child here, go on. So, you know, and it's like, people call, at first, they used to call Cool Shoes Summer Camp the alternative camp. And I laugh. And people are like, well, why they call it the alternative camp? And I'm not going to lie. Last year, we had 110 kids. And when you go to different places, like no disrespect, when they get kicked out of other camps, all the other camps call. We out of the 110 kids, I think 75 of them got, you know, getting kicked out for dumb reasons from other places. But the thing is they don't want to deal with them.
Right.
And when we get them, it's like, yo, what are y'all doing? How are y'all getting such a? They see us on field trips, but when he was with us, don't worry about what we're doing. And that's, people think they slick. Can we talk? No disrespect now. How are you running it? No, y'all run your program, y'all run yours, and we're going to run mine.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we making a sacrifice for these kids. Like,
that's right.
Y'all ain't. And like I tell people, we ain't getting no help. The money we getting coming in is going right back into them. Right. And my thing is like I tell people all the time, the money, that'll come.
Right.
You know, you just got to keep knocking on the door. And the door's going to open.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, so cool, you know what I mean, in a closing message, like what would you say, you know what I mean, on a theme of fatherhood, on a theme of just raising healthy, strong, resilient children, you know what I mean, what would you say to everybody out there in the world, Wilmington, Delaware, and beyond?
What I try to tell people is, you interact with your kids more. Sit down, talk to them first. Ask them what's bothering. Get more involved. I think forget trying to buy him and to that. I think if you got to talk to him daily basis, go out, sit down and talk. I think that'll build the strong relationships
Right.
worldwide. Because sometimes when I sit down and talk to kids, it's like sometimes they just want that relationship. I think build a relationship, not friendship. Build every friendship too, but like that father relationship where they can come to you and talk to you about anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I hear some parents, you know, one parent, you know, I've been dealing with, you know, helping for a while. You know, her son, 16, and she, oh my God, he's smoking weed. Oh no. End of the day, that's the evidence for that generation. He's high school. We all try things, you know, when he's 15, 16. You just got to talk to them and explain to them. And, you know what they doing now. If you're going to do it, you got to watch it. They lacing with stuff. You got to give them that talk because they're going to do it.
Right.
They're going to do that. But don't, you know, oh my God, I'm done with him. Nah. Or the dad, what the hell? No, just go talk to him, be there for him, and explain to him. You know, you got to watch yourself. You know, you can't smoke behind everybody. Because kids going to be kids, especially 16, 17.
Right.
They're playing sports, you know, the girls liking him, you know what I mean? That happens.
Yeah. So,
and I think relationship is the biggest thing. These kids just want relationships with their fathers.
building relationships with their father. Yeah. So before we go, the gala is
So like I said, I'm doing something. People thought I was going to do a party. Say Big T and Rich party. But I said no, we can still do it. But we're gonna make it a gala. I want everybody. So much you get dressed. You know, all men must have tuxedos on. No exception. They go get your nice dresses. You know, galas, they fundraisers. You know, put your money in the envelope. You know, donate. I mean, that's all it is. You know, like I said, to get a little band, had a band come play for about an hour and a half.
You got your date set for yet?
Yeah, April 11th.
April 11th for the gala. When's the Easter egg hunt?
April 12th the next day.
April 12th, the Easter egg hunt.
You know, I was telling people what I need all, because that's why they're like, well, why are you asking for a report card? I ain't gonna tell nobody yet what it is, but everybody's in like all my high school juniors and seniors. Now I told them to get all their report cards to me by April 6th, Monday, April 6th. They must have a 2.5 or higher.
2.5 or higher. All juniors and seniors?
Yeah, because
high school.
The reason why is 10 years ago, they was 8 years old. Right. Now they age 17, 18. Right. So they was there when they first started. Wow. So what I got stored for them, I want them, what they getting, I want them to have a chance to win. They was there when they first started, so got to reward them. Right. So, like that. Wow.
Well, listen, brother, it's been a blessing, man. Great conversation, man. Great insight, man. Thank you for everything that you do in the community, man. And thank you for being selfless, and you know what I mean, taking your experience with fatherhood, man, and flipping it and turning it into another experience for other young people that don't have their fathers, man. It truly is a blessing, man. If ain't nobody told you today, I salute you. And I very much respect what it is that you're doing for the city of Wilmington, man. And I just want to say, man, for everybody that's out there, man, you know what I mean, strive to be the best father that you can be, man. If you need some help, find some help. Talk to somebody, communicate, help somebody, get with somebody, man, that can help you be a father, man, to your children, man. Because at the end of the day, you know, everybody deserves to have that light and that guidance in their life, man. I had it in my life, man, and I'm striving to give it to my son in his later years and to my grandchildren, man. And I just hope that, you know what I mean, everybody listen to this message and really that it resonates with them. So this is Coley Harris from Missing Dad. We're signing out on our 7th episode, man. Thank you guys.
Before you sign out, though, when you said about, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. That's the problem with us, our culture, us blacks. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but that's our problem. We think asking for help is like people going to laugh and all that. And I should have said it a while ago, but that's what's wrong with this generation. They're followers. At the end of the day, it's not enough trailblazers. Mm-hmm. You know, it's too many followers. Right. And like I tell people, I tell the kids all the time, I created my own lane. Like I said, I had a chance to go this way, I had a chance to go that way. But now I want to create my own lane. And when I first started this, I used to think being different was whack. You have to worry about people going to laugh at me. And when I first started telling people I'm going to get back, people did laugh at me for 3-4 years. Now the same people that laugh, yo, it's your baby, I need you. Yeah, it was funny years ago. So it's like, it's nothing wrong with being different. And that's the problem with this generation. They followers. And like I tell them all the time, you could be successful. You could be a successful artist. You don't ever know if you don't try. Right. I said you can go to college for being an artist. You can make money. You can make millions of dollars selling pictures. You might can cook, bake. Right. You know, you might, go get some chefs making $100 average, $75 average. You know what I mean? Big event. So I'm a musician playing an instrument. You know, that's the thing. And
be a trailblazer.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to blaze your own trail, cut your own course.
There you go.
Like you did.
Take the chance. You never know until you try.
Yeah.
And the things that's going on now, everything's coming together. Doors is open. You meet people. I didn't think.
Yeah.
I didn't think. And like I tell people all the time, when you talk, I mean, at first, yeah, it was meant for the East Side. I'm 30, about 40, 50 families. But I didn't think.
But I would say it's even bigger than Wilmington, man. It's Newcastle County.
Yeah.
I wouldn't,
and
I definitely would see people, you know what I mean, coming from surrounding areas, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and everything. You've been on major networks, man. You're doing it all over, man. So again, man, I want to thank you, man. Thank you for coming out, man. Thank you for sharing your story, man. Thank you for doing everything you do. This is Coley Harris from Missing Dad signing out.